safety, either as an individual or as a company. Okay. And then broadly, there are 3 reasons why health and safety should be practiced, honestly. And I feel excited talking about this, honestly, because I believe it is about the one of the key areas that everyone who hopes to have anything to do with health and safety has to start with. So the reasons I'll be talking about here are basically the moral reasons, the economic reasons, and of course, the legal or regulatory reasons. So starting with the first reason why we have to practice health and safety, which is a moral reason, you will agree with me that it is morally right that companies, organizations, employers should look after those who have engaged to work for them. I mean, people, accept jobs, accept employment, so as to earn a living and not to earn injury. So it is morally right that organizations, individuals who engage people to work for them should provide a safe workplace for the people to work. Okay, providing safe place, the equipment, trainings, and all other arrangements that will help them to work safely needs to be provided. It is also morally right for employees also to cooperate with their employers. How can employees cooperate with employers? Employees can cooperate with employers by, of course, not tampering with any equipment meant for their health and safety. They can also cooperate with the employers by obeying all established rules and regulations which are meant to keep them safe while carrying out their day-to-day activities. So you will agree with me then that it is morally right for everyone who is involved in the health and safety business, both as the employer or as employee, to ensure that there's safety in all activities that happens on site. Then about the economic reasons, of course, many companies are folded today because of incidents they have had. Okay, there are several companies who are no longer there today because incidents, very catastrophic, happened on their sites, and as a result, they couldn't cope or continue with the businesses they established themselves to do. So it has a lot of economic implications if health and safety is not established fully in any organization and also implemented to the latter. Okay, because should anything happen, which apart from injuries, there could also be property damage, severe property damage situations where companies could lose substantial aspects of their machinery or facility buildings and the likes. That may crumble the company and then, of course, bring economic hardship to both the company and, of course, the individuals that work for the company, okay, as stakeholders, as the case may be. So that's about the economic reasons. Then the legal reasons. No company operates in isolation. There are always, in fact, I can say that authoritatively that almost every activity that happens everywhere has got one form of regulation or the other that it subscribes to. So implying that every business must comply with all associated regulations, because if there's no compliance, substantial compliance, the business, may face some fines, face some other consequences, which may even lead to, possible closure of the establishment. So from the look of things, as I've explained here, you see that these 3 key reasons cannot be, underplayed with regards to health and safety. So that is where to start from. So the advice here would be that whoever has any stint in health and safety must first of all understand that the reasons are very important, they are crucial, they remain evergreen. And then that should be the guiding principle, because if you understand that, either as an employer, as employee, you will definitely know how to go about your ways in the health and safety realm. Then another aspect of this discourse I'd like to talk about is causes of accidents. Causes of accidents. In Africa, to a very large extent, people believe that some accidents are not preventable. I mean, they just happen, they are not preventable. And at this discourse, I like to say that that is not correct. All accidents are preventable because they are all caused. There's always something that causes accidents. I'm sure that in other trainings platforms we've had, you must have talked about safe acts unsafe conditions. All these constitute what we call hazards, okay? So these are primarily what causes accidents, the hazards which can be divided again further into unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. And then if you look at it more practical, you could say that out of 100 incidents or percent of incidents that happen on sites, you could attribute 88% of it to unsafe acts. And by this, I mean the at-risk behaviors, okay, that workers perpetrate while carrying out their duties. And then 10% you could give to unsafe conditions, which are mostly issues that has to do with the environment, environment where the work happens, the equipment that are being used, and the likes. And then the 2%, people will tell you they are, from natural causes, things like flooding, things like earthquakes. But if you ask me, I like to say here that even the 2%, if you review it critically, you discover that they happen because of activities of man over time. So in that case, that is to say that unsafe acts contribute to 90% of incidents that happen on site, while 10% can be attributed to unsafe conditions. So having said this, having known this, you will also agree with me that all accidents are preventable because we do know the causes. So it's all about stopping those causes, stopping the unsafe acts, stopping the unsafe conditions, and then the accidents will be prevented from happening. Now, the third aspect of my discussion this evening would be on the cost of accident. Cost. I've talked about causes. I'm not talking about cost, as in C-O-S-T. Now, most people think, or most people's minds, when you talk about accidents, simply goes to the direct cost. Meanwhile, they tend to forget the indirect cost, which is almost unimaginable. Because if you think of the indirect cost of accidents or incidents, you definitely wouldn't want to be involved in such. What do I mean by direct and indirect cost of accidents? Direct cost of accidents are those, those things you see immediately an accident happens. Maybe there has been an injury incident, immediately the person is in pains, immediately is taken to hospital, and hospital bills are paid. That's the direct cost. Depending on the nature of the accident, the guy could be out of work. That becomes sickness absence. Okay, so that's also direct cost. Okay, what about the indirect cost? These are costs that you don't immediately see. However, over time they begin to surface. I can give you an instance here for better understanding of what I'm talking about here. Okay, now Mr. Okon, for instance, used to work in a company. And then he was involved in a severe injury incident that left him amputated. Okay. Now Okon is no longer work fit to work because his job, of course, means that he has to use his two legs to be physically present at his workstation. However, he's now amputated, so he's no longer fit to work. Along the line, after managing him for some time, the company decides to lay him off. Okon is no longer earning money to support his family. Then what becomes of his family that he caters for as a breadwinner? Okay, so your guess is as good as mine. I can go further by saying that, okay, because of this incident or his condition, present condition, children who are in school may drop out of school. The boys, the girls may drop out of school. And when this happens, a lot of other things can follow. They may join bad gangs. The guys may become armed robbers. They may become terrorists. The ladies may go into all manner of other, issues. Probably, you can call it. I can be blunt here. They can go into prostitution. From there, sickness comes in. From there, pregnancy comes in. Okay, and a whole lot of other things. The guy who decides to go into armed robbery may be caught one day, and from there he also, faces the law. What are we talking about here? That is to say that the hidden cost of accident, the indirect cost of accident is so huge that you cannot imagine it. So it is something that anytime you think about safety, think about working safe, I mean, you have no choice but to do so, because should anything go wrong and it becomes a worst case scenario, the unimaginable cost, which are the hidden costs, which are the indirect costs, could be really catastrophic and very bad. I can go further to paint another picture of it by using the Titanic incident that we all know about, We do know that that ship in the year 2012 or 1912, sorry, okay, struck an iceberg while navigating the sea, right? But what we also understand is that while the captain was navigating the sea, he saw patches of ice on the surface of the water. To him, he didn't know that underneath were massive block of ice. So he continues going until along the line he hits the the block of ice underneath. Okay, that is to tell you that once an incident happens, what you see immediately, which are the direct costs, are nothing to be compared with what you don't see immediately, but we surface over time. So that is about the cost, direct and indirect cost of accidents. Now, the next stuff I want to talk about here, having known what causes accidents, having known the cost of accidents, now how do we prevent incidents from happening? Okay, how do we prevent it? You cannot prevent incidents if you do not know, if you are not able to identify those aspects of your operations that can lead to incidents. Talking about the hazard. So hazard identification is key to preventing incidents, hazard identification, and of course, risk assessment. And by risk assessment, we now mean that having identified what can go wrong, you now need to evaluate it further to see how it can, be released, how that hazard can be released to become cause an incident. You need to also evaluate, should it happen, who and who will be impacted and how, okay? Then you need to also look at what are the existing controls and what additional controls or measures need to be put in place to ensure that you don't have any of such situations that we don't want in the first place. So you discover that by the time you have your risk assessment properly done, a hazard or a risk that was high risk may now be moved to very low risk. In that case, the activity can start. And even looking at it, I like to also say that there's usually a guiding principle, which we call the hierarchy of controls in managing hazard that you must also employ. Otherwise, you will miss it. Otherwise, your risk assessment will not be complete if you do not follow that principle of hierarchy of control. What I mentioned, completely avoid the risk if possible. Okay, avoid the risk if possible. Eliminate that hazard if possible. But we do also, to be very frank, we do know that sometimes or most times it's not very easy to completely avoid the risk. Because that simply sometimes means that you have to close shop. You have to stop completely your operation. So having considered that first consideration, if it's not possible to eliminate or avoid the risk, what next do? You can substitute the risk. You can substitute the situation, okay, with a lesser one, so to say. So you look at it from that angle. I can give you an instance. For instance, if using a liquid substance in your production activities, creates some hazards such as probably, splash situations. Why not consider using powdery form? In that case, you are substituting the liquid with a powdery, substance, which still gives you the same kind of results that you normally have, but with less impact on the environment and, of course, on the individual worker. So that's about substitution. Then the next aspect of the hierarchy to consider is reduction, okay? You may not be able to eliminate, you may not be able to substitute. What's next? You may find a way to reduce the hazard, the risk there. In this case, we are now talking about the engineering controls that has to come in. Just putting an enclosure around a guard, around a moving part of a machine, for instance, could just do the magic and keep or separate the worker from that hazard, okay, while the machine is in operation. So it's about engineering control. Having said this, the next to consider will be the administrative control, okay, in managing your hazard. For administrative control, this is largely around issues like having, procedures in place, having work instructions in place, having signages in place, having training, in place for the employees, okay, having things like work rotation to reduce the exposure time. So all of this constitutes to what we call administrative controls. And of course, the last in the hierarchy would be your PPE, which is the personal protective equipment. And we also see it as the last line of defense. Now, PPEs do not prevent accidents or incidents. They do not prevent it, but they reduce the outcome. They reduce the injury, for instance, that is likely to occur from an incident. So that's why it becomes very important. And unfortunately, PPEs only protects the wearer if it is properly and adequately worn. Okay, it's only when the person who is exposed to that risk wears it that we can say the PPE comes to full effect. So what you find on site is a situation where most workers neglect the use of their PPEs even when they have been issued. Okay, so that is about the hierarchy of control. I'll go a little into health aspect of the discourse this evening. Of course, to ensure that employees who work on any sites are fit to work, it starts with the employment, what we call the pre-employment medical checks. This is where it really starts from, and I like to advise here also that it has to be done, without compromise. It's always good to know the baseline status, health status of every employee on site. And then when eventually they're employed, there has to be what we call periodic health surveillances, okay? Mostly based on the kind of risk exposure that the personnel is involved. For instance, a welder may have to be subjected periodically to what we call the lung function test to see that, to be sure that, because it's exposed to respiratory hazards, okay, like inhalation of welding fumes. So such a person should be subjected to minimum of 6 monthly health surveillance checks just to be sure that his lungs are still okay. Okay. Those who are exposed to high noise areas, for instance, should be subjected to audiometric test. Also, just to also be sure that yes, their hearing is not impaired along the line. So that is part of what the health aspect also does. Then what about housekeeping? Ordinary housekeeping goes a long way to keep everyone on site healthy. And untidy, poorly kept place in terms of housekeeping can breed mosquitoes. And mosquitoes, we do know that, causes malaria, for instance, which workers from time to time also come down with. So there are a whole lot of things that has to do with that's why you cannot actually separate health from safety, because it's only a healthy workforce that can be productive on any site and indeed in any nation. So it is very clear as well that everyone who works on site must be healthy at all times. And we also advise that people go for periodic for medical checks, at least to check their vitals, especially these days when it's easy for people to come down with issues around high blood pressure related issues, high blood sugar related issues. So frequent visits to on-site clinics can help workers to know their status and also know the immediate measures to begin to put in place to ensure that they don't progress to that full-blown stage where they come down with high blood pressure or high blood sugar. Even body mass index is also one of the key. Obesity is an issue. So as people also visit the clinics there, they check all of this and be able to know what to do next to keep themselves fit for work. And then finally, I like to talk about environment aspect of the health and safety that we do here. Okay. Environmental sustainability is gaining prominence, obviously, in industries now. Talking about sustainability is all about doing whatever we do, okay, gaining from it without compromising or jeopardizing the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That is all about sustainability. So if you talk about what happens on site, it must be economically sustainable, it must be socially sustainable, it must also be environmentally sustainable. So when I talk about economic sustainability, that simply tells you that every activity, everything we do must be profitable all through, of course. Businesses are set up to make profit, right? So if they are not profitable, so you discover that economic sustainability has a question mark on it. So whatever happens, there has to be profitability in what we do as well. Of course, without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The next is social sustainability, which I like to say, this is about ensuring that equity, okay, ensuring that there's broad-based spread of the benefits from whatever we do. So it shouldn't be one-sided. So every stakeholder, all those who are involved in whatever happens within the society should also benefit from it. When we have that in place, we can say we have social sustainability. And then the environmental sustainability is about doing whatever we do in our operations without impacting the environment negatively. We do know that currently there's a lot of talks around global warming. In fact, COP28 just finished in Dubai recently. It's all about the environment. So activities, operations, manufacturing activities, or whatever it is, must be such that we limit impact on the environment. For instance, emissions, air emissions, greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere from fossil fuel uses, okay, in the industries, for instance. Just to delve a little bit, we do know that industries have a lot of systems that require energy utilization. For instance, you have boilers, you need to generate steam. So you have your boilers there. Boilers, some boilers are powered by diesel, okay? And diesel, we do know that emits carbon monoxide and of course carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, depending on the combustion rate or level, okay? These are all, gases that are not friendly with the environment. So the emphasis should be to progress from the use of fossil fuel to use of other means of energy that are friendly with the environment. For instance, use of biomass, okay? And that's why for some organizations like the one I work for, though we have diesel boilers, but we hardly use the diesel boiler because we now have what we call agro boilers. The agro boilers or solid fuel boilers make use of palm kernel shells. These are biomass, okay? Palm kernel shell, cashew nut shell, okay, to generate power that heats up water and generate the steam that we need for our operations. By so doing, the rate of emission, okay, carbon emission into the air is also reduced. There are other instances, that can be given, but the bottom line is that whatever we do should be environmentally sustainable. Within the environmental realm also is about waste management. So what we should promote going forward, what people are encouraged to promote now is more of a circular economy, okay, where resources needs to be properly or efficiently utilized. There's proposal, or people are encouraged to reuse resources, to also recycle. And the whole idea is to reduce the amount of waste that our operations generate. So when this is done, you discover that you are around the realm of circular economy, which is actually where to be, instead of the linear economy that most countries and companies practice over the years, where you use the resources, you get output from it, and then you discard. There's no arrangement to reuse. There's no arrangement to recycle, thereby, polluting the environment, very much. Okay, so this is, I can see some hands are popping up and going up. So don't worry, I'll give you opportunity to ask your questions. Okay, so without taking more of your time, I think I've been able to touch a few aspects of health, safety, and environment that really bothers me. And anytime I have the opportunity to talk to people, I always like to, mention one or two things around this. So I like to.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nelson. You've dissected and rearranged the whole topic in such a manner that I'm sure have converted us all into professionals.
Your questions.
Minutes.
If you have.
I want to say thank you very much for that excellent.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I missed the other aspects. I was supposed to talk a little about the safety career generally, right? So I'll just take the next. If you don't mind, I'll take the next 1 or 2 minutes to talk about that. Okay. Now, if you see, look at my resume, you see that I actually started a safety job. Okay, my first safety work was in 2008, August 4th to be precise. So then I joined the organization as a rookie safety manager. Okay, I progressed from being a rookie safety manager to middle manager in station. The other ones I joined, I was now middle manager. And as we, okay, now that there are other areas, the other levels you could start. Safety assistant, okay, safety assistant. Are simply persons who have passion in developing their career in safety. So what they do is to attach themselves, footwork around the site, okay, supporting the safety officer on site, okay, supporting the safety officer on site and gaining a lot of knowledge. So at that point, they don't have much of responsibility. Of course, there's no job anyway that is so small to be recognized. However, safety assistants are people that just have basic knowledge about safety. For us in Nigeria and for my organization, we take people who have just had the basic training with the Institute of Safety Professionals. They have the HSC level, general HSC certificate, which is level 1 and 2, and then they apply to us to be safety assistant. Of course, we give them the opportunity, and when they arrive, we attach them to a safety officer, and then with the help of the safety officer, they are involved in various safety activities that we do to achieve our KPI, right? So it really starts from there. From safety assistant, the next level will be safety officer, okay? And some persons on some sites also call it safety inspector. So you can also, that is not to say that you must start as a safety assistant anyway. So it depends on the kind of experience you have and also what the industry is looking at, okay, where that you are joining. So the next level really would be the safety officer, or what some other persons call safety inspector. Then from safety officer, safety inspector, you could become a safety supervisor, okay? In that case, you're having, higher responsibility, okay? And then you are at that level also probably deputizing the safety manager if it's not there, okay? As a safety supervisor. It can also be the safety coordinator. Some persons call it safety supervisor or safety coordinator. It's all about a higher responsibility. From there, of course, to safety manager, which is now sitting at the top, so to say, and ensuring that the sites that you manage is safe at all times by implementing the company's policies and procedures around health and safety, and of course also formulating the policies yourselves, because at that level you would have gained enough knowledge, enough experience to be able to advise the company management on the way forward in regards to their health and safety challenges. So from safety manager, the next will be maybe regional safety manager, it could be safety lead, it could be GM safety. And then there's also even safety directors, okay? They are vice president for safety. In fact, I report to, as a safety GM, I report to the vice president of health and safety in Olam. That is to tell you, that is the highest, ranking officer in health and safety in my company. So I report to him. So you can see how the progression is from safety assistant, safety officer, or safety inspector, then safety supervisor or safety coordinator, then to safety manager, okay, and then to maybe regional safety manager, as some people call it as well, okay, or to general safety manager, right, and then to safety director, assistant safety director, or even to vice president safety. So there are a whole lot of career opportunities in health and safety, and I can tell you for those of us in Africa or from Africa, the opportunities are immense in the sense that I could say this is an area that is not fully tapped yet, unlike other professions or other disciplines, okay? Because there are just very few professionals in health and safety. Okay, so but you need to also be patient. You need to be diligent. You need to get involved, because to progress in a career, you must know what your responsibilities as a health and safety professional. So you need to you need to get involved. You need to get involved. Well, how do I mean getting involved actually? It's only when you get involved. Okay, I can take inspection, for instance. If you are not getting involved in site equipment and workplace inspection, how will you know, how to, the risks that are inherent, that are there in your operations, let alone knowing what to do to address them. So you find some people who tend to call themselves health and safety persons, but they are largely, sitting at one place. So for me, the advice would be that if you are really interested in safety, first of all, have deep passion for it. Okay, I used to tell people in my early days that safety work is more like, it's more like it's like saying that I don't work. Fine, there has to be money. Money comes in, you'll be paid, but that shouldn't be the emphasis. That shouldn't be the emphasis first, because for the fact that you are helping people to stay safe, you are helping people who resumed work healthy to go back home healthy. That's enough motivation, really, to give to you as a safety person. Okay, so the emphasis shouldn't be the money in it, because this is what keeps some people away. Okay, when you offer them safety job, maybe as safety assistant, first of all, how much is in it, and then when they don't find it interesting, the next thing is to think otherwise. But I can tell you, for those who are passionate about having a career in safety, it's worth it, but you need to be patient. And you need to be willing also to start at that very low level if you haven't been in the business at all in the first place. So from there, I can tell you, you will progress. Just to further buttress my point, some of my safety assistants have, of course, moved up from there to safety officers. Some have even become safety managers in other organizations already, because they joined, they were exposed to what they are supposed to do, they got fully involved, and then learned quickly, on the job. And then today, some are even outside the country as we speak, doing the health and safety job. Okay, so that is it. There's a lot of prospect in the health and safety career. There is.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Mr. Nelson. Is an excellent A1 presentation, and we thank you for your time. Please, I would like to remind everyone here that we have rules on our Zoom session. Our number one rule is that you should be properly dressed. You can see the way the presenter is dressed. You, the listener, should be properly dressed, just as if you're in a live classroom. If you are putting on just your inner wear, singlet, or whatever, please put on something. Otherwise, you'll be either exited from the program or your video will be blocked. You should not be eating on this program while the program is going on. That's not going to be too nice. All these rules are applicable in other Zoom sessions, not just for Laplage Metaverse. You need to start imbibing that so that you have an international approach to doing things after here. Then you should be lying down when the program is going on. Okay, having said that, I want to quickly take just 3 questions here so that we can move on to educational management and administration. Yeah, just 3 questions. If you have questions from Mr. Nelson, of which I doubt, because he seems to have covered everything, as if I gave him an expo of what he needs to talk about. So he has covered everything. How many questions? Just 3 questions. We will pick it from you. Yes. And welcome those from outside Nigeria.
Yeah, so let's have your questions, please. I'm all ears. I'll be happy.
Okay. Since it seems you've really covered everything, that means you've done an A1 job. I want to quickly ask what is your advice in just 1 minute to persons taking this course here in Laplage Metaverse? What is your advice for them, particularly in the area of career progression? Over to you, Mr. Nelson.
Sorry, so I missed you. I missed you
Okay,
a bit.
Yeah. I said, what is your advice for those taking this course right now, especially in the area of career progression. Just in 1 minute, what advice do you have for students in this class right now listening to you?
Okay. Yeah. I like to say it's a good one, honestly. And for those who have been able to make it to this point on this platform, through your trading platform, they are indeed lucky. I've actually gone through the course module, the course content, and I can tell you that it's quite rich. So whoever has undergone this training, I'm sure is ready to start a safety career, honestly.
Thank you very much. Mr. John, your question might be coming late, and I want to believe that we need to move ahead. Yeah, sorry about that. We have to move ahead. Okay, just let's take your question. This should be the only question.
So who can take John?
His hand is down already.
Who can take John?
Yeah, his hand is down. I'm sure maybe we've answered this question in the program because of you talking about the last question I just asked. Okay, Mr. John.
Okay, the hand is up again.
Your question should just be brief, 30 seconds, straight to the point. Unmute yourself, please.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Actually, it's not a question per se, but I would like to find out if this very class, the video version, is done for other subjects as well, not only the environmental health and safety. And then also, if it would be possible for we the students to have Mr. Nelson's number, just in case going forward in the future, we need his assistance and guidance. Thank you very much. John from Ghana.
Okay, I think the first question, the first statement you are asking if there's a video for this or recorded video, am I right?
Yes, that was.
Oh yeah, it's being recorded, so you're going to get the recorded video.
The video section also for the other courses as well. We did that of the education management and administration and climate change and renewable energy, and there are other subjects as well. So I'm asking if there could be this video session for those courses as well. And also the recorded video session of this for those who could not participate or those who couldn't make it, they can have access to. And the other one is to, if possible, to have Mr. Nelson's number for we the students going forward. We need his guidance and assistance. We can follow him. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Yes. During the course of the training, we had access to videos, and I need to advise everyone here. We are not claiming to have monopoly of knowledge in everything we are doing. If you just go to YouTube, there are thousands of videos, helpful videos that can help to create pathways for you. So we also advise our students to seek for knowledge independently too. It's an excellent way for you to also broaden your horizon. However, for this program, we're going to record it. And as much as possible, we're going to record any other Zoom. We've been recording other Zooms we used to have, and we're going to send it to the class so that those that are not here will be able to participate. And for Mr. Nelson's number, yeah, we are working out a program where all our facilitators will be able to have all the students in a group to advise them. Yes, have an advisory section where you can advise them. So definitely Mr. Nelson's number will be made available once we conclude that part, so that he should be able to advise those of us that want to become experts in this area. Yeah, we're going to do that. Thank you very much. Okay, let's just take one more question and that will be over and out, so that we can move ahead. Victor Okun.
Good morning. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Wow. Actually, sir, my questions here, he actually has made a lot of points, but I have a question. My question is this course that he just taught us now, I don't see it in Nigerian university. I recall that they taught us safety once. That was when in our science laboratory technology, where we are doing it in the Polytechnic. They only taught us safety once, but I didn't know that it's more broad like this. And because of it, I'm trying to know whether is there any institution in this nation that Nigeria precisely that specializes in this safety management?
Okay, so I like to come in there. let me try attempt to answer this your question. Okay. Yes, your observation is correct. Correct in the sense that not I mean, there are very few schools actually that have some courses in safety. Okay, and these schools, to the best of my knowledge, actually, are schools that run like in Kaduna here. We have Kaduna Polytechnic. They have a course they call industrial safety, industrial health and safety and environment. Okay, but it's at HND level. Then at the university level, for bachelor's degree, there's for now there's no university that is offering bachelor's degrees in health and safety. However, University of Port Harcourt offers masters in occupational health and safety. Okay. Now, what you find in most universities, especially for those who do engineering, you find safety management embedded in engineering. I'm a mechanical engineer, all right, by training, and I can tell you those days at my undergraduate level, there was a course we had to take under engineering management. So safety management was part of engineering management that I did. Okay. Yeah. So the summary of what I'm saying now is that there are some institutions like Kaduna Polytechnic also that offers a HND program in health safety and environment, industrial health safety and environment, right? And then the higher institutions have safety management embedded in some engineering programs under what we call engineering management is a course, okay? Within that, you also do safety management. And then schools like University of Port Harcourt, the Institute of Petroleum Studies, actually also offers MSc, master's degree in occupational health and safety. But I can tell you something, there are a whole lot of certifications if you can do, and that's will really put you in a very good state to pick up a full-time career in health and safety, even without a degree. Okay, like apart from the local certification that you can get from ISPON, which is just a starting point, the advice would be that you progress to do NEBOSH, okay, which is the National Examination Board for Occupational Health and Safety in the UK. Okay, so it starts for you that wants to develop your career in safety. Obviously, you need to have a NEBOSH IGC, what we call the NEBOSH International General Certificate. Okay, that is where you have to start. After that, you can even progress to do your NEBOSH diploma. NEBOSH diploma in occupational health and safety is equivalent to bachelor's degree in health and safety, even in the UK. Okay, so that is the way it is. I'm sure that as time goes on, even regular universities in Nigeria will begin to offer bachelor's degree in occupational health and safety. However, you could, whatever degree or discipline you belong to, you could just do yourself a favor if you really want to be in safety career by first of all going to obtain your ISPON HSC General Certificate. After that, find a site to be work as safety assistant or safety officer, the case may be experience, you can now begin to do your about. So you can do the Bosch IGC, the Bosch Environmental Management, the Bosch Fire Safety. Okay, those are certificate courses offered by the Bosch. And then from there, you can now progress to the Bosch Diploma, which is equivalent to a bachelor's degree in health and safety. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nelson. Please, I have an advice for everyone here. He has provided you with the background information that certain things are possible. I think what is left for you is to go online and do your research. Yeah, you can just type career progression in health and safety. What is a career progression path? And you will see all the information you are looking for, because we might spend the whole day here asking and he will be responding, and yet we might not be able to take all the questions. So on your part, what you just need has just been handed over to you. And that is the fact that it is possible. That is the fact that this certificate can bring you in to start thinking of pursuing a career in this area. It's a starting point, it's an entry point for you, and you should take advantage of it and make progress to also do further professional studies. So any other question you are looking for, you ask a place, you can just go online, Google it, and then do more research on your own so that we can also proceed to other programs. Thank you, Mr. Henry. We are very excited to have you here, and we are going to see how we can keep working with you. This is Laplage Metaverse. This is how we run our programs, and this is January. If from February, March, we'll be having over 1,000 and spillover students. Usually that is usually the case. So we are just even having very limited number of persons attending this program. And we'll be moving on to the next.
Okay. So,
yes, thank you, Mr. Nelson.
Sorry. Okay, so can I exit? Can I exit now? Can I leave the meeting?
Yes, you can. You
okay.
Can. Yeah.
Okay, so just my parting word before I leave, if you don't mind, I'd like to again congratulate the students who have taken this year course. To be very honest with you, I've gone through the overview in terms of the course content, okay, and I can tell you it's very rich. Yes, while I was also advising, I mentioned ISPON certificates, but that is not to say that it's higher than what I've seen, because I've done this ISPON myself those early years, over 15 years ago, okay? And I can tell you that what you have covered in this course is a lot more detailed than even what ISPON actually offers for their level 1 and 2 certification. So having obtained this, I'm sure your students are really ready, fully ready to start a career in safety. And of course, those who still want to have ISPON or other ones can go ahead and get them. But what you have offered, going through the course content, I tell you, it's quite detailed and is enough to keep them in good standing anywhere they apply for a job. Okay, so once again, I congratulate all the students, all the participants on this. I'm sure that for those of you who will eventually become safety professionals, practicing safety professionals, you won't regret it. Just as I'm not regretting it, because I told us that I'm a mechanical engineer by training. Okay, I started after youth service. I of course did a mechanical maintenance job. I worked for jewelry industries in Agbara, if you know where that is. So I worked as mechanical maintenance engineer, and then along the line, I delved into safety, and I can tell you it's been all good since then. In fact, I just had an appraisal, and then I was asked by my VP, what is your career expectation? Now that you are GM, I'm GM, health and safety for my business unit. So what is the next level I want to attend to? You know what I told him? I told him, yes, the next level is to be Pan-African, as in regional West Africa, because that's the next level. I need to cover countries, okay, within West Africa, where the business operates, where Olam operates. So that's what I had to say, okay? That is to tell you that having attained the stage I am now, I'm still looking forward to having a higher height, because there are still more and more opportunities out there for me even, okay, in the career. So it's something that you guys will enjoy, but of course, make sure that you have a strong passion for it, because that is what will make you to be dedicated, committed, and diligent really in your activities as safety professional. Thank you very much, and
yes.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. We so much appreciate your time. God bless you. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah,
okay,
so
thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay,
yeah.
We'll be moving on to the next speaker, Mrs. Lois Ojo-Tokian. Ojo-Tokian. Okay. Yes. Over to you, madam. We want to just have a brief overview of educational management and administration. Yes. I can see you have two numbers here. I hope, yes, okay. Just a brief overview, because we've done everything we need to do on the WhatsApp class. So we want to put a face to this program. Just as a practitioner, just give us a vivid description of the practical approach to educational management and administration in just 20 minutes, so that we can use another 10 minutes to tackle questions that might come in. Particularly, also add to your discussion career path in that area. How attractive is it, and what is the way into that area of career? Thank you. Over to you, madam.
All right. Once again, good day, everyone.
Yes.
And sincere appreciation to the last speaker. I've learned a lot this evening myself. Going straight into what I need to talk about today, giving a teacher 20 minutes to talk is a very difficult task, but I'm going to try my possible best to use the 20 minutes. All right. Talking about educational management, first of all, I would like to apologize. I may not be able to come in using video. I'm actually on transit. So permit me next time when I'm stable in my abode, I'll be able to do that in our next training, if possible, if I'm invited. So going straight to my topic for today, educational administration and management. In order to save time, I won't really go into definition of terms and all that, but the summary of that topic is just talking about managing and leading in an educational setting. And this has to do with being able to handle things that are applicable, activities that are programs that are applicable in educational organization to be able to achieve the purpose and the goals of that organization. And they vary. It is not, leading a school is not a one-way thing. It is not my way or nobody else's way. It comprises of a lot of things. And I will just try my possible best to talk about few of them this evening. It covers you being able to organize activities. And before you organize, you need to plan. It covers, I'm sure maybe during our WhatsApp class, this might have been talked about, but let me just briefly talk about it. You know, you need to be able to, as a school leader, planning of school activities, both academic and extracurricular activities, lies on your shoulder. You should be a good planner to be able to head a school, to be able to manage a school, to be able to be an administrator of a school. You should be able to be involved in academic, both academic and extracurricular activities planning. Then the next thing you should be able to do is to be able to organize organize these activities. And how will you be able to organize if you are not an organized person yourself? So this profession, and especially being the head of this profession, takes a lot from you. You should be able to organize curricular and extracurricular activities. You should be able to also direct. What are you directing? Directing people and also directing the activities. And you cannot direct people if you cannot be able to motivate them. And how do you motivate people when you don't add value to them? So in general, education it takes everything. I call it a noble profession because first of all, it disciplines you before any other thing around you or every other people around you. So you can only be able to motivate people you are leading because you are adding value to them. Someone that does not add value to you, you find it difficult to be able to be motivated by that person. Another aspect of this responsibility is being able to coordinate the effort of the people. And who are the people we are talking about? It is not school environment, educational environment, I call it a community of people, the students, the parents, the staff, and even your host community. You should be able to coordinate the activities that are going on around your environment, within and around your environment. Then you talk about control. Here, you know, when you talk about control, it goes beyond, you know, the regimental aspect of control. Okay, I'm a leader, I need to control people and all that. It is more of guidance. It is more of guidance and putting them in the right path when they are going astray in their activities. And you should be able to also to evaluate. You should be able to evaluate. All these things I'm talking about has to do with, you know, what is the essence of educational administration and management. You should be able to evaluate what you are guiding the people to do. Are they making progress for you to be able to achieve the aim of the school, for you to be able to achieve the goal of the school? You know, as a school, you always have mission and vision, but what is the mission and what is the vision without the school culture? And this is where the area of control comes in so that people don't go, you know, out of the box to affect the mission. The mission is where you are going to, and the culture is all about what are you doing as a school. So as a leader, you should be able to guide your people. The next thing I'm going to talk about is Educational management and administration is more concerned with both human resources and material resources. Human resources is even the major aspect of it. I'm sure on this platform we may have some school owners here. One of the evil we do to ourselves as school, especially school owners, is to invest more in infrastructure and not investing in the people, the human resources. We are really, really making that huge mistake, and it is not helping the educational system. Someone can bring out 50 million to renovate a school waiting for September to open, and that person finds it very difficult to bring out ₦1 million to invest in human resources that they have. And that is why we are finding it very difficult to measure up as a country. I'm talking from Nigeria, to measure up with other countries of the world when it comes to educational system. Some school owners will tell you, why invest in people? You invest in them, you train them, and they walk away. And I will always tell them when I come across such people, so which one is better, investing in them and they contribute their quota to your school, and not investing in them at all, and you end up having a school with people without knowledge, without information? At the end of the day, which one is better? So I will advise the school owners on this platform, if you have them, or the school leaders here, you are working under someone who owns the school, for you to advise them. Investment in human resources, training, skills in human resources in school, because educational system is like a factory, but this time around, you are not producing items. You are producing future people, future leaders. So you cannot just have a school, you cannot manage a school, you cannot be an administrator, you cannot own a school without having for human resources. Investing in human resources. I'm talking about educational management, the essence of educational management. Investment in human resources matters a lot. We find ourselves in a dispensation that becoming a teacher is just, it has become a thing of, okay, I've not seen what I want to do, let me just go into teaching, to pass time. It has become a cankerworm in the educational system. But I keep saying it, if you are a teacher and that is how you came to be a teacher, why not love what you are doing currently? And in the process, what you actually want to do, even God Almighty will see your effort and open doors for you. Do the right thing. But we, the school owners, the school leaders, we also need to invest in them and all that. The aspect of human resources also covers having human sympathy towards the people that are under you. As a school leader, you need to have sympathy. You need to have sympathy. People are going through a lot. A lot is happening. People are going through a lot as a country. I don't need to go into the details of what is happening. It may not even be as a result of the country. Family issues, workload on the head of teachers and all that. So you need to have, in as much that they have to do what they have to do, you need to have that human side of life to your responsibility, to your position as the school manager, as the school administrator. You also need to understand. Majorly, you need to understand with parents. You need to develop that art of understanding. We all have different understanding. Sometimes I come across parents and I'll be asking myself, is this person really the father of the child? Is this person really the mother of the child? But you need to understand. Everybody cannot be like you. You are understanding what they should do as a parent, maybe because you are a professional. You don't put it to the face of a parent and tell them where they are getting it. You just cut it out straightforward without understanding. You need to look for a way to understand and find another way of passing your message across to these people. Understanding. You can't also be a school manager without being, without having knowledge. If people under you know more than you, I'm trying to look for the word to use. You can't be a leader in a school environment without being a learner yourself. Opening yourself to series of trainings. Last year, I told myself, any training at all I hear about, I have to be part of it. I've done trainings on health. I've done trainings on finances. Because if you don't, people under you will not take you serious. They'll walk over your head. And at the end of the day, if you don't know your onions as the school manager, see, a lot of things will go wrong. And at the end of the day, who will be at the receiving end? The innocent children the parents have trusted us with. You need to be knowledgeable. Every aspect of the school environment. The first speaker that spoke this evening, I am so excited and I'm waiting to meet him one-on-one. I need to learn. I need to bring him to teach us what we need to do. As a school, I thought a lot of things we are doing already. We are safe. We have a safety department and all that. But with all he has said this evening, it has opened my eye to so many things that I know I need to also learn on that aspect. As a school manager, as a school administrator, as a school owner, because we have school owners that money just came across and they decide to open a school. It is not out of place that you get to know what educational system is all about. If not, you end up, and that is why some schools fail when the major leaders that are employed leave the organization. Why? The owner of the school does not have a clue of how to run a school. Does not have a clue. All he or she is after is the money that is coming in. But I keep advising people, you have the school. Send yourself to training. If you need to go back to school, go back to school, do a lot of things and develop this knowledge so that you'll be able to have what I call helicopter view of how a school should be run. So that, having a structure that can run itself, that's just the summary of everything. Having a structure that can run itself. And how do you have that structure that can run itself if you are not knowledgeable as a leader? And also skill. A lot of things are involved in school management. Skills. You need to develop skills in the children. You need to come up with a lot of extracurricular activities. Now, we live in an environment that certificate is more honored than skill. But when you take countries like China into consideration, what has made China what it is today is not certificates, but skills. Why we are guiding these children to have these certificates, why not guide them to have these skills so that tomorrow, if the certificate fails to put food on their table, the skill will. We need to wake up as a nation in this educational system. We really, really need to wake up. We are in an examination environment and it is closing up the potentials, the talents of the children. But as a school owner, as a school leader, try to develop these children side by side. Physical environment, investing in it is just secondary, but investing in the human resources that God has put under you is the number one, which is the staff you have and the children you have. Now, I'm going to talk about, as a school manager, or the school leader or administrator, a lot of different schools have the nomenclature they call the school heads and all that. What are your objectives? As a leader, leading a school is not all about having a posh office and sitting down and everybody is coming in and out. Good morning, ma. Good morning, sir. You go around bullying people around. No, it goes beyond that. The overview of educational management and administration, first of all, is to be able to provide education to learners, proper education to learners, irrespective of the type of education, either formal or informal. So as a leader, as a manager of a school, you need to have that at the back of your mind, that the first thing that is expected of you in your position is to be able to provide proper, I like using that word, proper. I'm not talking about expensive, because there is a misconception. Oh, my child is in a very expensive school. How proper is that school? Any school that is not developing a total child, no matter how expensive it is not a proper education. We need to develop children that can stand on the global platform. And a lot of things are happening. Sometimes I go to public schools for one event or the other, and you will see talented children. Sometimes I weep in my heart. You see talented children that are just looking for someone to identify them and groom them up. Proper education is what we are talking about. As a leader, that's the number one thing. Managing a school, you need to think about proper education, which covers a lot of things. I only have 20 minutes to talk about, next time, if I'm given opportunity, I'll go into details of this, having a proper education, but have it at the back of your mind. Either formal or informal education, the first thing you need to think about, proper educational system. That is what you should have for these children. Then the next one is to be able to ensure adequate utilization of resources. If you are a school leader and you are someone who is the one that you are the alpha and omega of whatsoever is being provided, you are getting it wrong. You are getting it wrong. You need to carry these teachers along. Each individual have, we all have what work for us well. Why not liaise with these teachers as the term is resuming, as the session is resuming? What resources work better for you? And you provide for them. What I do, even down to textbooks, before we buy any textbooks or change any textbook, I sit down with the teachers, with heads of departments. I am suggesting this. Even if I know this is the right book to you, I put it on the table and give them my reasons. And also train them on how to use it. Some of us, we keep providing resources that we are not training teachers how to use. I went to a school recently and I discovered that a book that was bought in 2016, I was given to a teacher the very next year. Up to date, she has not used it. And the head of that school has never deemed it fit one day to go into that class and ask a teacher, what about this book? What are you doing with it? Proper utilization. And how will you be able to do that if you don't have knowledge on how it should be used or what is even the content of the book? Some of us, we are managing the school, anything we see goes. If school A is using this one, you go and buy and you are not getting knowledge on it. It matters a lot. The next thing, work ethics. Work ethics. Teaching is a noble profession. Is a noble profession. Don't people see it as one of those things, but to be honest, if we have value for education, we will have regard as teachers. We will also have regard for teachers. Professional ethics. As a school manager, you should be able to instill professional ethics in your school. People should be dedicated to their work. And that is why if you are giving appointment letter, you don't have value for, you just put a probationary period just for putting sake to complete or to increase the lines of your employment letter, you are doing yourself a lot of wrongs. Professional ethics, dedication, that is the essence. We are talking about having objective as the school leader. You should be able to establish professional ethics in your school. You should be able to develop people. Developing people, I've talked about it. I wouldn't want to go into that. As a teacher, one of the things I keep telling people whenever I'm able to meet with the community of school owners is that liaise more. Take advantages of the skills of the people. One of the things I do whenever I'm issuing appointment letter, I write it. Your department may be changed. Your work responsibility may be changed. Why? Because when someone come into an organization, give that person 2-3 months, you'll be able to know the areas that will be more productive. And you quickly change them to that area. You are saving yourself a lot of stress. And your school will be able to stand the test of time. Why? Because you put people in the areas that they will be productive. A teacher is struggling in the class and you keep saying this is what you are employed to do. You are supposed to be a teacher. Meanwhile, you have discovered that this same teacher is so good when it comes to craft, when it comes to hands-on activities. Why not quickly move that teacher to art departments? And you will be shocked the magic such a teacher will do in that place. So we need to be able to, develop people and also, buy into the skills of people. Recently, we had a staff and I just realized that he's so good in, fabricating items. And I'm like, any little thing happen, we are spending money to go and bring contractors from outside to come and repair. Now we move him to maintenance departments and we are saving a lot of things. We are saving a lot of resources. We are saving a lot of money. So as a school manager, please be sensitive to people's skills and buy into it. It is not everything you contract out. It is not everything. And once you're able to discover somebody like that, a little addition of money will buy their hearts to do the work. You are no longer buying their hand. When I come across people like that, we add something on top, for them to be happy to do it. You like, no, you are employed to collect 50,000, whatsoever you do, that is what you receive. No, it's not helping us. I'm looking at, ways we'll be able to get it right in the educational system. So a lot of people are saying government has failed us. Private schools are also failing this nation. To be honest, I've been to private organization and I've worked in so many schools. By the special grace of God, I have 26 years of experience. I know what I'm talking about. A lot of private schools are all about profit making and leaving we are chasing shadow and leaving the substance behind. So enough of blaming the government. Let's go into reality and do the right thing with our future generation. The next thing I'm going to talk about is, I've talked about, training the children, especially their skills. Let's have children that can be on global platform. You don't educate, I will call education. Let it not be that, okay, you are teaching someone how to drive and strictly you are teaching the person to drive on a particular road. And tomorrow, by the time that person finds himself on another road, he's confused. Why not just teach how to drive so that whenever that person sees himself or herself on another route, they can drive? And that is how we should see education. Teach these children so that anywhere they find themselves in the corner of this world, they will be able to function well. We need to look into education in that aspect. Enough of 100% focus on examination. Let's develop a total child if we are a school owner. Another thing I need to talk about, educational management and administration also covers the host environment. If you have a school in an environment and you don't have good relationship, it is not too good. You need to have good community relationship. You need to contribute your quota to that environment. You have a school in an environment, the road leading to your school is not, is not, I'm trying to look for a way, is wonderfully and fearfully made. Permit me to use that word. And people are falling on that same road and all that. What will it cost you to tell yourself that, okay, whatsoever comes in for a term, after all the expenses, the salaries and all that, let me sacrifice and put this road in order. You will put smile on the face of the community and you're also adding color to your business. You're adding color to your school. We need to have value for our host community. We need to identify with them. I'm always looking around for any external activities happening in our environment. How can I be part of it? Do I need to attend? How can we support and all that? All these things matter in educational system. We need to put them into consideration. Another thing we need to have at the back of our mind, educational management and administration is all about getting work done effectively and efficiently. Effectively and efficiently. Because we are building future generation. We are building future generation. We can give excuses for everything, except if you don't want, even if you don't want, you are not eating, you can give an excuse why you are not eating. But when it comes to teaching profession, I beg of us that are into educational line on this platform. Be intentional about it. Be effective. Be efficient. It breaks my heart when you tell people or you tell teachers, oh, okay, there is a training coming up. The first thing they will say, who is paying? Is it the school that is paying? Is there a certificate? The mindset we have. The mindset we have. In my journey on this profession, I would say 98% of trainings I've ever attended home and abroad were self-sponsored. Because whatever knowledge I acquire becomes part of me, in as much as possible, in as much as I will use it in my place of work. Whenever I'm living, I live with my knowledge. And it becomes part of me. It makes me a better person. It makes me an effective person. But when you are waiting for your employer has to pay for all your trainings, you will wake up and you are 70 years old and you are nowhere to be found. Why? Because you are not effective. You are not equipped. You don't have knowledge. And a child, a staff that is being employed today. You know, we keep having such issues in this profession. Somebody comes in after 2 years, the person is ahead of you and you are angry. This person is developed and it's continuous development. Why won't the head prefer to promote that person that have been there the same yesterday, today, and forever? You are not, you know, adding value to yourself. Educational profession is one profession that you need personal development, if possible, on daily basis. Personal development on daily basis, because you are dealing with lives. You are producing. I'm trying to look for a word to use, but we need to get back to the drawing board. No matter your position as the school leader, as a school manager, as an administrator, you need to be on top of your game. You need to be on top of your game to get it right with these children. You need to be on top of your game. We need to work with these children to prepare them for the future. We really, really, really need to. Then, as the head of the school, you need to have viable knowledge of the curriculum that is applicable for whatsoever type of education you are offering. I'm talking about the pedagogical aspect of management now of the school. Viable one. And when I'm talking about viability, I know what I'm talking about. You come at that, you know, in Nigeria, people keep saying, why are people doing British curriculum? Why this, blah, blah, blah. Nigeria curriculum itself is British curriculum because they brought this education to us. But what is the difference? They keep revamping. They keep revamping. They keep going back to the drawing board. What is working? What has worked with the previous curriculum we brought out? What didn't work? How do we get it right? And they bring out another one. But we keep offering 10, 15, 20 subjects that is not really adding. We don't go back to the drawing board to say what is working and what is not working. And we keep bombarding the children. As educational sector, we need to get back to the drawing board. What is effective for the 21st century generation? It baffles me when I go into some schools. They have a subject, computer science, and there is no computer lab at all. There is no computer lab. They are teaching children the meaning and parts of computer and all that. And at the end of the day, just pass WAEC, and that's it. That is it. It is unfortunate what is going on. Practical aspects of subjects should be looked into. As school leaders, as school owners, we should start looking into those aspects with our children. Educational management, how do you manage your financial resources? How do you manage your financial resources when you don't even have knowledge of financial management? As the school head, as the school management, I went for a training last year in Abuja on financial management, school financial management. And when I came back, within 2 months, you cannot believe a lot of leakages, financial leakages I was able to block. Because now I'm well informed. I just don't sit down anymore. Any requisition that comes to my table, I'm signing. I have the knowledge. I'm signing. Of course, the staff will not be happy, but at the end of the day, they will be careful. Oh, madam or sir now knows that this thing can be done this way and they can save these resources. You are also helping them to be responsible. You're also helping them to be responsible, channeling your finances. To be honest, if you open a school and after some years that school dies, is as a result of you unable to manage your human resources and financial resources. These two aspects are very, very vital. These two aspects are very, very vital. How are you managing your resources? And I will always beg school owners, if we have them on this platform, please, at least 10%. Let me not even go far. Start with 10% of your income. Invest it in your human resources. Invest it in your human resources. Investing in human resources, it goes beyond training and all that. It goes beyond training. What are you doing to add to their personal lives? What are you doing? Some school owners will tell you, I've paid salaries. What else can I do? What else do they want from me? There is a lot. There is a lot you can do to buy the heart of teachers, the heart of staff. Recently, a staff got married in my place of work. Is one of the security men, and I had to send a message when the departmental people are ready to go. I was going to follow, and they were like, "Madam, you want to follow?" I said, "Why not? Is not one of us is getting married?" And I made it. When I went for that wedding, I could see the joy on the face of that man. I almost went emotional, and I kept thanking God I went for that wedding. Since then, I came down, irrespective of who you are, as long as you are a staff. I made it a point of, made it mandatory that apart from the departmental people that we go, all management staff, it doesn't matter the distance. You are having a naming ceremony, we are all coming. You are bereaved, we are all coming. That is investing in human resources. Everything is that. It's not about money. Identification, having value for people is very, very vital. I will say it again. Have relationship with your host community. Have relationship with your host community. And I don't know if I've passed my 20 minutes. And for those who are aspiring to be school leaders, I only have one advice for you. And why will I be able to why can I give this advice is because that is what has worked for me. Be determined, be intentional every day to add value to people. To add value to people. Adding value to people is not, how will I put it? Is not adding value to people is not a career choice. But if you do, it will take you to the top of your career. To the top of your career. As a classroom teacher, what are you doing to add value to the children under you? What are you doing to add value to even their parents? What are you doing to add value to your colleagues around you? It starts from there. You will be shocked. That singular act will take you one day to become head of department. I was asked to talk about career paths. First of all, I will urge each and every one of us, if you want to build your career in this profession, irrespective of whatever degree you have, certificates you have, please try to go for your PGD. That is the starting point. If you are not privileged to have certificates in education, go for PGD. And a lot of opportunities are open for us these days. You have online courses, you have online, even universities that will not affect your work. Start with that. Start with that. Have value for people. Have value for people intentionally every day. I keep telling people, I am friendly with everybody, even down to the security men at the gate. Everybody knows I am friendly. When you walk into my place of work, I can stand at the gate with the security man. We joke, we laugh. I ask after their families and all that. But when it comes to the job, they know that there is a line they cannot cross. Be friendly with people. Everybody cannot be. You are not expected to be a friend to everyone, but it is your duty. You want to develop career paths on this educational line, you need to be friendly with people. First of all, you just have to be friendly. You are dealing with children. And don't wake up. It is going to, from personal experience, it's going to be very difficult for you to wake up one day and you call yourself a school leader when you have not had the experience of classroom, because that is where empathy starts. That is where empathy starts. One thing I've come to realize over the period of time is that as you are teaching, you are gaining knowledge. You are also learning. You are also building yourself. And if you don't have these experiences, you want to be a school leader, it's going to be a frustrating effort for you. Because when teachers are saying A, they are demanding A, what is going on in your head is that it is B they are talking about. So you need to have these experiences. You need to develop yourself. You need to go for courses. In summary, I don't really have much to say, but you need to develop yourself. You need to go for professional development in all aspects, if possible. In all aspects, if possible. My time is fast spent. I know I've passed 20 minutes. I don't know if I should continue.
Okay,
And
thank
like
you.
I said, you're asking a teacher to talk for 20 minutes. I really have a lot to say, but I think I need to put a pause and just listen to some questions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam. In fact, if we have our way, we'll just ask you to continue. But unfortunately, that is not possible. So far, so good. I think you've actually done a master's program for us here in school administration and management. I want to believe that everybody will agree with me that you've really done well. We so much appreciate you, and honestly, we will have a way to get across to you to see how you can develop our boarding school administrators and managers. Okay, I will just take 2 questions, and your questions should just be 30 seconds so that we can also create room for our climate change facilitator. Time is fast spent, but we'll just squeeze out time too for him. So just 2 questions, please. We'll not take 3. Lord Manasseh Mensah. 30 seconds.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
My name is Dr. Banasi. Okay. My question is, getting work done effectively and efficiently in educational management and administration. Of course, we know it's alarming situations. So how can this situation be promoted? And my second question is, why is educational management and administration is poor in government sector and private sector? How can, or what advice do Sister or Madam have for us? Thank you.
Please, I think the question you just asked now, especially the second question, is what she has been talking about all this while. I don't know if I'm right. I want to believe I'm right. Everything she has been saying so far has been in the form of advice on how to effectively manage and administer a school. The first question is, you may have to repeat it because it wasn't too clear. Over to you, Manasseh.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
now, my question, getting work done effectively and efficiently in educational management and administration is an alarming situation in, let's say, in Africa. So how can this problem be promoted? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. I think for me, I will say the first step of being able to achieve efficient and effective work is deciding what is the purpose of establishing the school in the first place. You need to know the purpose. What is the purpose? That is the first step in being able to achieve things effectively and efficiently. Because what you may be doing may be right, but it may not be right in that particular school or educational setting. And that is why you need to know what is the purpose of setting up that school. There are some school owners that they are setting up school for business purposes. If you want to be a professional to the core, you will find it very difficult to fly in such environments. You need to understand first of all, decide what is the purpose. If you are able to know, you channel your energy in curricular development, in preparing, even down to the timetable. You align, that becomes your umbrella, or that becomes your how will I put it? Like a family tree, the umbrella name, the decision, the core reason for why the school is being established, and you channel all your efforts in everything you are doing, even in organizing your activities in the school. You have that at the back of your mind. This is what we have to achieve. And you cannot be efficient when you don't have regard for time management. That is one of the things that is eating us up in school environments. I'm sorry to say, a teacher that is giving 40 minutes to teach, and that teacher is coming in 15 minutes to the time of the lesson, is past, is walking into the class, and before you know it, is eating into another person's period and all that. And it starts from the head. You call for a meeting 8 a.m. People are sitting and waiting for you. I've made it a point of duty that whenever I call for a meeting, nobody gets to that meeting venue before me. And before you know what is happening, they will take they will take, they will follow suit with what you are doing. And before you know it, in every aspect of school environment, effectiveness and efficiency, being efficient comes to play. Then, like I said, you cannot leave out personal development. Personal development. Well, for Africa, it is well with us. I can't really talk much. We have a lot of resources. Even in Nigeria as a country, they keep pumping money into educational, sectors and all that. But what is being achieved with it is what I don't understand. What is being done with it is what I don't understand. But if you are privileged in your own capacity to establish a school, if we have 15 schools in an environment and 8 is doing the right thing, before you know it, the rest will follow suit. But when you are all after how to make money, nothing will be effective, nothing will be efficient. And that is what is affecting us. Unfortunately, African government is not a good businessman. That is just the summary. So I'm not even going to go into in the public sector, but for the private sector, we have every opportunity at our call to do things right. We have every opportunity at to do things right. But, when you put money first, that is what is affecting the effectiveness of our educational system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, madam. We appreciate you.
Yes,
And you said it all. Please, we might just take one more question. The question should be just 30 seconds. And hopefully, madam will just squeeze out 1 minute to respond to you. Yeah. Mr. Elvis Oglafa. Unmute yourself, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, good evening all.
Good evening.
My question is, how do we, based on what you have said under educational management, how do we now divert the attention of proprietors of schools to follow content instead of money? Number two, if you say the students are talented, are proprietors also talented? That is my question, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, briefly, let me start with the second one. When you talk about talent, when you talk about talent is, it covers a lot of things. When you come across a child who is talented in playing football, you don't expect that the school proprietor must also be talented in school, in playing football. But what is expected of that school proprietor is to, connect this child, his passion, they help this child to develop, that football aspect while he's learning. You'll be surprised when you connect his learning to his skills. You will be shocked. You'll be shocked. I used to have a child. I was even a classroom teacher then. I used to have a child. I noticed whenever we have PA, physical activities outside, sports days, they're always calling him football. He was everywhere. And one day I had to call the parents. Can you register this child in a football academy? And they said, no, it's because he's not doing well. I said, okay, leave it to me. Let me talk to the boy. And I told him, if you sit up with your academics, you will be surprised your parents will register you in sports academy, football academy. And I was shocked. Within 2 terms, this boy jacked up. And today he's doing extremely well. He's in university now. He's doing extremely well. I don't know if we end up being a footballer, but we're able to use his skills to draw his attention to face his academics. Then I'm trying to remember your second question. Okay, if how should we be able to divert the attentions of the school proprietors from money aspects, to do the truth of the matter is that education is passion, and it is also this money that sustains the passion. That is the truth. For you to be able to have viable education, it calls for passion, but money also sustains the passion. What I am saying here, money should not be your number one focus. Well, government is actually supposed to be who to make school proprietors to face the reality and do the right thing. But as government is not doing it, we have organizations. We have National Association of Proprietors, school owners and all that. You know, when you're able to speak with one language, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. This is what we should not do, and all that. Within our local organizations, talking to each other, preaching this oneness, first of all, not hunting each other. Oh, school A has 100 children, I only have 50. Why should we relate? You know, community relationship also covers, you know, schools within the community. We should be able to, in our community this year, when the children are, anything that is happening, our children should be listed for it. Is it competition? Is this? How do we work together to achieve all that? So within ourselves, but in a situation that you are such in a toxic environment that schools are not relating with each other, do your work as a school owner and let God take the control of every other thing. It starts with individuals, sir. If you have a school, make up your mind. I want to create a standard. And the standard is not all about environmental standard, having you know, gigantic building, beautiful building. What kind of children am I producing? You will be shocked. In years to come, other schools around you will start emulating you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Madam. We've really exhausted our time, and I want to believe that you are happy with what you've gotten so far. Madam, once again, we want to say a special thank you, and we appreciate your time and effort. We also appreciate the time and effort of every single student here. This is how we always have it here on Laplage. Next time you come, you'll be having thousands of students overflow on Facebook and on YouTube joining your program. This is first training for the year. Okay, next we'll be moving on to climate change, and I want to check. I hope just a minute. I want to be sure that our guest speaker is still here. Okay, Mr. Oyebanji. Yes, Mr. Oyebanji, you are most welcome to this program. You have to roll everything all in one. You give us a brief introduction of yourself, and then go straight to tell us, give us an overview of climate change. We've done everything we need to do in the class on WhatsApp. We just want to put a face to it, climate change in general, and you just have 20 minutes to do that, less than 20, let's say 15 minutes. So we'll use the remaining 5 minutes to ask questions. Please work with time so that we all can leave here on time. And remember, we have a match today, 9 o'clock. Let's also hope that we win the match. I know we have Cameroonians here, but as you are also hoping to win the match as a Cameroonian, we too, we are also hoping to win. That is the beauty of football. And I hope that one of the teams will win. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Oyebanji. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Thank you so much, our convener. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I would also want to seek the indulgence of the House to allow me to just do an audio presentation of my part of the discourse.
Yeah, it's just that your audio, you might need to work on your audio. Like maybe you are using your earpiece or so. It's not too clear.
Okay, I'm actually using my earpiece. Is it not audible enough?
Okay, just go ahead and let's see.
Okay, just give me the observation. If it's not clear enough, let me see if I can do something from my hand here. Can I continue?
Yes, continue. Though the sound is not too clear.
Okay. Let me see if I can get a better headpiece. I was actually using a Bluetooth device. Just give me a moment, like less than a minute.
Please be patient while he sorts out his audio.
Hello.
Okay.
Do I have a little improvement?
Yes, it's better now.
As it were now?
Yes, it's
okay.
better. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Sorry for the little interruption, time taking there. So once again, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here tonight, and honestly, I've been learning. I think everybody needs to do this more often than none. We need to keep on owning our knowledge in every area is very, very important. And I've learned from what our immediate past person said in education management and all. So quickly, what I'll be discussing tonight is just like our convener said, to have a recap on what we have been doing or what we have learned in the class that has to do with climate change and renewable energy. I would like to quickly introduce myself. I'm Mr. Yebanji Fafiebi, Chief Operating Officer of Super Nature Hill Technology Services. And we are basically a renewable energy consulting firm, and we are into project management and development in the aspect of solar renewable energy. So there's nothing much for me to say more than what the course contents have actually outlined. You know, majorly climate change has to do with long-term shifts in temperatures and our weather patterns. You know, most of these shifts are either to natural, but in the most recent times, let's say in the last from 1900s, when human beings started, we humans, when we started advanced technological development, the major contributors to climate change shifted more from being natural to man-made, as it were. You know, the need for us to generate energy, the need for us to utilize more energy made it to become very, very essential for more energy production on a daily basis. And this has had its toll on our climate drastically, such that our present United Nations Secretary General brought up the observation that it's time to stop burning our planet. It's high time we stop burning our planet and start investing in the abundant renewable energy all around us. You know, just like I was saying, the need for us to generate energy to drive most of our technological innovations and development for our day-to-day activities has brought about so much change in how our climate has been over the decades. You know, before the technological development era, burning of fossil fuels that has contributed majorly to climate change. Burning of fossil fuels were not really in the picture. But you know, when technology started growing into an advanced stage, from as little as a plug-in of one cylinder engine in the late 1800s into 1900s, you know, from as little as that development, one-stroke cylinder engine, when it became necessary to use fossil fuel, to power such engines, it's at that point that climate change actually began historically. You know, we find out that these fuels that we are burning generate a whole lot of gas emissions, and bulk of these greenhouse gas emissions, they just act like blankets that wraps around the earth. You know, they wrap around the earth, trapping the sun energy, and the effects of this trapping of sun energy is raising of temperatures. You know, the main greenhouse gases that are causing this climate change, you know, the culprits among them, the major culprits among them are carbon dioxide and methane. And you find out that these are the major components of our day-to-day fossil fuel. For instance, our gasoline, that's our normal PMS, petrol that we are using for driving our automobiles, is the major component of it is carbon dioxide and methane. And these are the major culprits in terms of gases that are responsible for our greenhouse climate change. So I think I don't need to flog the aspect of climate change that much, because I believe much has been covered in the courses that we have been exposed to. I would want to talk about renewable energy, which is the era that we are rapidly coming into. And this is actually what is needed and what is necessary for us in the times that we are in now. Because going by the research of United Nations, we find it's observed that not less than 80% of the energy that we are still using today is still being generated from fossil fuels, which means that more damage is still being caused into our climate. Because in as much as we are depending on the fossil fuel, what it simply means is that we are still further wreaking damage or havoc, as it were, to our globe, which is what United Nations really wants us to guard against. And the awareness that is being created is towards how we can have a paradigm shift from from fossil fuels in terms of generating energy to natural means that are actually renewable. You know, we call them renewable because they are inexhaustible when we are comparing them with the fossil fuels. Fossil fuels, once it is combusted, it has been used up. And apart from the fact that it's becoming more expensive, we also realize that its effects on our globe is, in terms of the health hazard itself, the uncomfortability that is bringing to us is gradually becoming advanced. And to this effect, renewable energy is something that United Nations wants us to take as a paramount development goal. So what is renewable energy? What are the advantages of renewable energy? You know, renewable energy sources around the good part of renewable energy is that as at today, or as at, let me say, as at 2023, we have not even taken up to 25%. We have not tapped into up to 25% of the renewable energy sources available around us. It is still at the budding stage. Many countries of the world are still not yet utilizing the potential renewable energy that nature has given unto them. Why am I saying this? Every country of the world have their own renewable energy potentials. Like I am talking from Nigeria, and in Nigeria here, and basically in Africa, we are much endowed with solar energy. You know, not until recently, not until the year 2000s, we have not really been tapping into the abundance of solar that is available. Though technological advancement too is helping us to know more. On a daily basis, researches are going on, and innovations are coming up on how to make these discoveries in the area of solar to become more commercialized, and from there, more people from all classes of income range, not just the rich, but also the middle class and then the lower class are also able to benefit from renewable energy. You know, if you look at it, the renewable energy source of energy is much more cheaper and much more in abundance around us when compared to the fossil fuels that happens to just be the first breakthrough in energy generation. I think I would even want to take a little break and talk about the sources of renewable energy, because these sources of renewable energy will make us to understand that, as a matter of fact, truly, every countries of the world have one or two particular one that they are endowed with. For instance, I just spoke about Nigeria and Africa at large, talking about solar energy. But of course, we also have wind energy and we have hydro. The ones that have not yet even been tapped into is the geothermal energy and the biomass energy. You know, these aspects, every countries of the world has the privilege to have geothermal source of energy and biomass. But the interesting thing is that a whole lot of research is going on to tap into the potential energy that can come up from those environments. So, you know, renewable energy is a vast and a very, very versatile aspect. The good thing about it is that it is still at the emerging stage, and it's an aspect that is at the heart. You know, talking about the climate change itself, you know, energy is actually the one at the center. Energy generation, I mean, is the one at the center of climate change. So this is the reason why renewable energy is gaining the forefront of recovering our climate. You know, what we are interested in here is to create an environment that is more healthy, that is cleaner, unlike the way, and to also make sure that the global warming thing is reducing. The effect of fossil fuels around us is temperature rising, and this has to do with global warming. And that is what United Nations is actively trying to encourage us to see how we can reduce global warming that is ongoing. So basically, renewable energy is going to give us a breakthrough into our desire to have an amiable environment that is healthier, and is more efficient in terms of energy management. So what I want to say tonight that has to do with how to tap into all these our renewable energy sources is that there's a whole lot of career paths in renewable energy, which I believe that the courses we have been exposed to must have probably given us an overview of it. There's a whole lot of career paths. There's energy audits, there's renewable energy consultants and project management, there's climate change officers, there's energy efficiency managers, there's education going on. In fact, climate change educators, you know, renewable energy finance officers. It's teaching us the holistic, is giving us an holistic view of how we can harness the renewable energy that is available, that nature, in fact, as a matter of fact, is a gift. I call it a gift from nature, which we have not really looked into, especially now that if you look at it, the global cost of these our fossil fuels is on the hike, is on the increase. The cost of fossil fuel is far more expensive now than renewable sources of energy. So it is very, very important to key in and then to research deeper into the sources of and how to harness renewable energy. I want to implore us, participants that have interest in this aspect, I want to implore us that we should give more attention to it, because it's more or less like a breakthrough that's going to give us a whole lot of economic relevancy, especially Africa at large, because Africa happens to be at the forefront of we are at advantage, so to say, when it comes to renewable energy. You can, if I take a look at the way most of these European countries, China itself, the way they have been coming in, as in terms of the business part of it, they have been tapping in, they have been seeing the potential in Africa even more than we Africans that are in the continent itself. You know, they come in with so many innovation on that has to do with solar renewable energy, so many innovations that has to do with wind and turbine energies. And all these innovations are highly commercialized, such that they know that they are taking advantage of the felt need that actually energy generation and electricity basically is in need with in Africa, and they are really cashing in on that. They are cashing in on it in such a way that sometimes it makes me to feel like we are still in a kind of enslavement, because they are seeing what we cannot see. They are bringing in solar products for us that we are spending millions of dollars on a yearly basis, and bulk of this wealth is migrating back to their continent, because they are the ones helping us to design most of these our storage facilities. You know, one thing with renewable energy is that because it is available in abundance, there's always need for it, and because it is available in abundance, but at the same time, it is also supposed to be harnessed. Let me give a practical example. We have hours of the day that we are exposed to sunlight, and the energy that comes from the radiation, sun radiation, is only available for maybe a certain number of hours. In Nigeria, typically, it's the average sun exposure, average daily sun exposure is between 7 and 8 hours. Now, what happens in the other hours, the other, like, so to say, 16 hours of the day? There's no sun energy. So this brings about a situation where you have to store the energy, and that leads to another innovation. That leads to another technological innovation that has to do with storing up of or harnessing the solar energy, which is where battery backups and all of that comes into play. You realize that a whole lot of research is going on in developing different types of storage devices. The first one of it is the lead acid battery. And the lead acid battery, we have the one that we use for solar. We also have the one that we use for automobile, which is actually different anyway. But the one that we use for solar that we call the deep cycle batteries is of lead acid type. We also have the lead carbon type of battery. Then we now have the ones that we call the lithium batteries, which are the ones that are just coming on board now. You know, all these are innovations that are coming up in the areas of storing of this energy, which our own predominant here, the predominant one with us here is the solar energy, talking about renewable energy sources. The one we have that is predominant with us here is the solar. And we find out that the research that is going on in the aspect of storing this energy is what is gaining forefront now, because we already know that we have it. It is abundant with us, but it has a time frame on a daily basis. You know, our God, how do we put it? Nature, permit me to say that nature is a very good manager. It makes it available to everyone at a particular period of time. It is now left for everybody to be able to use it and store it accordingly, so that it can be available as a source of energy, even when it is not available again at that point in time in a day. So all the opportunities that are embedded in this is just summarily to summarize it. It is that there's a whole lot of opportunity, career growth opportunity in the renewable energy. The same thing is going on at the moment for wind and turbine energy development. You know, these are renewable energies that it is available, but it has its timing because it is weather-based. It has its timing, and it is left for us to use our human wisdom to be able to store them and make them available to use continuously. The more we can store them and harness them, the more availability that it will be to us, the more available it will be to us. Permit me to say, the more available it will be to us. So I want to implore us that taking more courses, developing ourselves more in the area of renewable energy is actually very, very important, and it's going to put us in the forefront of global development. Because here we are in Africa, the people of other continents, Asia, Europe, they are also doing research daily to discover energies that are renewable from their own aspect. Like I was saying earlier, every one of us, every country have geothermal energy source and biomass, because these are energy sources that, like for instance, biomass is an energy source that is coming up that is from waste and from beneath the earth. As the potential of providing energy. And this is what we are supposed to take advantage of it, as nature has made it abundant for us. I would not want to say too much. I would rather prefer that we have an interactive end of the class, so that more questions can be prompted, and it will be able to propel me to shed more light into areas that participants that are interested in this renewable energy are actually looking at. I think it's supposed to be more of a practical discussion than much of, because most of these things that I'm saying, I believe that the WhatsApp class has taken care of more than 70%, if I'm not mistaken, of them. So I would love if it will be an interactive class, and then we'll be able to shed more light into areas that people want to know. So at this juncture, I would like to ask if we can have an interactive class. I don't know if that is part of it, but I believe it should be part of it, so that we can discuss more.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Yebanji. This is, like you said, climate change, renewable energy is it's a topic that cannot be discussed in just 20 minutes.
Honestly, sir.
Yeah, I can see how you are just struggling to bring in so many things within the short time you have, which is not.
It is just too short.
It's too short. So, however, you've done so much justice, and I want to believe that anybody that missed some things in the class definitely must have gained something here. And personally, I've also learned a lot. And like I told them earlier on, we cannot teach what we are teaching now in just one night. We also have our own part to do, which is to go online, watch videos, YouTube videos, read, Google up topics, and swallow in a lot of knowledge in subject areas like this. And that will even make it even easier for you to sit in a class like this and even assimilate and follow. The interactive session, we might have to discuss it with Emmanuel and yourself later. What we've decided to do this year in Laplage is to create groups for courses like this where people can stay with the facilitator, ask questions, and until everybody is okay and happy, and probably even go ahead to even pursue a career path in that area. And we definitely want to do that. But for today, we are going to just allow just 2 persons ask questions. Then after that, it will be over and out so that we can close for the night. I want you too, Mr. Yebanji, to have some rest too after today's up and down. So over to you, Mr. Suleiman Garuba Luka, please. Your question should be very, very brief. And I also want to believe that Mr. Oyebanji will just use 1 minute to respond to you too. Okay.
Hello. All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to answer just a question. This renewable energy, please, I want to ask, are they exhaustible? That's just a question.
No, if you listen to him while he was talking, they are there in abundance. You cannot exhaust them. Just like taking the sunlight, for instance. The question is that, can you finish using the sun? But in the case of fossil fuel, you know, it has a limit. Sometimes you hear that our petroleum has so number of years it will be exhausted and all that. So you cannot exhaust it.
And in terms of some other countries that they don't experience a lot of sun, can they also have the opportunity or the potentials of using the solar energy?
You've already said they don't have a lot of sun. They have other forms of energy. Geothermal is there. He mentioned geothermal energy. He also mentioned biogas and others.
And hydro energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then another thing, please, while we share the groups, as you said here, for all the participants to go for their respective preferred courses or professions, please, I will advise if the facilitators can also bring in something like slide.
Well, this program is designed to go this way, because definitely anything you need on slide has already been sent to you in text, video, and picture format in the class. So you are still asking for what you've gotten already on slide, which is not really necessary. What you need now is for professionals in that area to talk to you and give you some leeway into the course, and you have opportunity of asking questions. And I want to believe that looking at the 3 facilitators that have come on Zoom, there's no doubt that they have done justice to every topic that they came here to handle. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope I've answered your questions.
It's okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll be taking the last question. Dr. Mina Obanga.
Hello, good evening. The day is fast spent. Thank you for everything, coordinator, and also the presenters for attended from the beginning to this very, very, very end. My name is Dr. Mina. I'm a professor of environmental social work. My questions are just to get your guide. Number one, that the sun, for example, is widely available, has still not proven to be easily accessible in terms of transformation to solar through that initial capital. What has been done to address that initial capital that appears to scare a lot of people from the opportunities that Goal 7, which is the renewable energy, provides? And that is one of the reasons why many people are still skeptical about wanting to fully go into that process as clean as it is and still opting for fossil fuel. And then what are the policies in place to addressing an end to the fossil fuel processes? Since 1950, we have been hearing about an end, because carbon emission and climate action and climate change can never come to an end if there's continuous, emission of fossil fuel. So continuous emission of this thing. So I think that's another thing that I thought I could hear from you, what you think can be done to address that gap. And then also, when we see a lot of people these days are saying that producing solar panel, is the real situation in Nigeria production or assemblage? Thank you so much. I said, let me ask these three, but I can't leave without saying I'm a thorough beneficiary of your project. And I think we can only get better with this initiative. Thank you.
Okay. Before handing over to Mr. Oyebanji, yes, those two questions were also treated. If you remember, he made mention of research constantly going on into storage. The sun is there, yes, but how do we store it and convert it into energy? Research is constantly going on. And one thing I can assure you is that with research and mass production, prices of end products like this usually come down, bringing in the factor of demand and supply. So it's just a matter of time. The question is that how much of this are Africans getting involved in? Are we just going to be there to be buying? And that was what he was trying to mention. Are we just going to be there to be buying? How much of this research are we going into? I think it's more of an institutional thing, more of what the government should be looking into, providing a enabling environment for people to go into research and production. But it's a big topic that he might not even have the ability to say yes or no to, because it involves every one of us, and it also involves every single, the government. And I will hand over this time around to Mr. Oyebanji to complete the response to Dr. Mina. Over to you, Mr. Oyebanji.
Thank you very much. I was actually waiting for you.
Yes.
You have done justice to the question, which means you really followed my few minutes discussion.
Yeah.
So basically, between 2010 and year 2020, we observed, research showed us that prices of cost of solar energy and cost of having solar energy systems has dropped drastically by at least, as at 2010, it was 85% higher than what we have in 2020. And the same thing goes for wind energy. It's a technological, innovative sector. And on a daily basis, there are more innovations that are coming up that has to do, just to go down the memory lane. Historically, when the first photovoltaic cells was discovered, that it can actually trap energy from sun radiations, we found out it was just a university project then, and I think the professor himself that did that discovery was expecting a very large. That I think one of his conclusions was that he will be needing a very large compilation of photovoltaic cells to be able to trap in a very, very insignificant volume of energy. But as of today, we have so much lesser. Okay, let me just use this explanation to drive home my point. The first set of computers, we were told that they were as large as some were as large. The first set of computer systems were as big as a whole system. Gradually, they became, and as big as they were, their storage capacity was very, very small compared to what we had at some later times. So research is going on, and this research is bringing about further ways of reducing the costs of having solar systems and making it available not only to the rich, but also to the people in the middle class and, of course, the lower class. The same thing is happening in area of government participation. We have a whole lot of public-private partnership that is going on in that aspect, even though in Nigeria, it is not yet widely spread. But I think I was privileged to get one or two information from the, what is it called? The International Renewable Energy Agency. You know, I was privileged to get some information about public-private partnership that is already going on to make sure that people are venturing together to reduce the cost. And just like I said, in terms of storage, the more the development, the evolution is coming up, the more efficiently we are able to store the energy that is being supplied within limited time frame of the day, and we are able to use it more. So with this, I believe it's just a matter of time. In between now and 2050, solar renewable energy is going to take the front line and is going to be available to not less than 70% of our population. And in the areas where solar is very, very abundant, it will be available. In the areas where wind energy, a whole lot of work research is going on in that aspect to make sure that it's available, it's affordable, and it's accessible. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Yebanji. Dr. Mina, I want to believe that your questions were answered. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. You did some fair justice to it. And then later on, we can always talk about the assemblages versus the production. That can be another conversation.
Okay, excellent, excellent. That's nice. So, thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Yebanji Fafi Yebi. Thank you, Mrs. Lois, and thank you, Mr. Nelson. It has been a fruitful night, and I want to believe, though we stretched beyond our 9 p.m. target, but I want to believe that it was worth it, and that we are all happy. This program is being recorded, and at the end of this program, we're going to send a recorded version of this program this night or tomorrow morning to your class, and so that you can watch and also share with others. Thank you, and God bless you all. Please, you can feel free to go ahead to pay for your certificate, and we'll be adding something to the certificate that we are issuing. We'll be giving out letters for those of you that want to do internship. Just get your letter, just go somewhere and do practicals. One thing that you can do for yourself is to have practical experience in everything you've just learned. Don't just get a certificate and think certificate will open doors. Make sure you have experience. Volunteer 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Go for internship. If you want a letter of volunteering or internship, just indicate and get it. And we'll provide it for you at no extra cost so that you will be better. And by God's grace, Africa will be better for whatever we are going to be doing from now henceforth. We are doing our part. The ball is now in your court. Good night, everybody. God bless you all, and see you in class. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.